In November 1943, a U.S. Navy reconnaissance plane vanished over the icy waters off Alaska's northern coast. And when the wreckage was recovered days later, the pilot's final transmission was scratched into the cockpit wall. City of ice, with lights, moving towers below me, not clouds. At first, the military dismissed the scrawl as hypoxia-induced nonsense, but in the following weeks, 3 separate Arctic patrols reported strange radar echoes beneath the Beaufort sea shelf, resembling geometric structures buried in the ice. But in reality, it was tasked with deploying seismic gear beneath the polar shelf to map the anomalies in secret. In the winter of 1944, a joint task force led by Naval Intelligence launched Operation Harrow, an unclassified weather monitoring mission on paper. What they found stunned even the most hardened officers. A hexagonal grid, 300 meters wide, embedded in permafrost with heat signatures pulsing at regular intervals, as if something dormant was still powering it. When one man emerged alone from the whiteout, barefoot, frostbitten, and clutching a sealed military logbook to his chest. On February 8th, the task force went dark. No more transmissions, no returns, just silence across the ice until 18 hours later. His name was Lt. William Hawke, and before succumbing to exposure, he whispered one phrase over and over in the infirmary: "The city breathes." And metallic, with massive vertical spines and what appeared to be runes etched in concentric circles across the floor. The logbook, now declassified in fragments, tells of a last desperate attempt to drill into the largest anomaly, a glimmering wall of unknown alloy beneath the ice, which resonated when struck and appeared to vibrate with voices. Its sonar officer describing the impact as hitting a wall that shouldn't exist. Cameras deployed inside the borehole captured a single grainy image, a chamber, smooth. The footage cuts off as the camera's temperature sensors spike to over 300 degrees Fahrenheit, just seconds before it melts. The Navy quietly shuttered the operation, buried the findings, and reclassified the entire sector of the Beaufort Shelf as unstable ice shelf on all public maps. But in 1957, a Soviet nuclear sub patrolling under the Arctic ice near Alaska reported a collision with a fixed metallic ridge, and rhythmic, fading in and out like a heartbeat visible from 70,000 feet. That sub, K-271, surfaced with a 10-foot gash in its hull and radiation readings well beyond Cold War tolerances, sparking panic in Moscow and whispers of a NATO base hidden beneath the ice. Back in the US, the CIA reopened the Hawke Files under Project Data Ice, now targeting declassified seismic scans and intercepted Soviet transcripts about anomalous northern interference. One analyst's margin note, still visible in FOIA scans, reads, "Whatever's down there, they found it first." And for 17 minutes, their underwater microphones recorded a deep, pulsing hum, non-biological, mechanical, repeating every 43 seconds. In 1969, a high-altitude U-2 spy plane captured what appeared to be faint glowing patterns beneath the polar surface, hexagonal. The thermal footage was shown to President Nixon, who ordered an immediate cessation of all drilling and aerial reconnaissance within a 150-mile radius of the original site. This presidential order, never made public, was later found buried in a 1972 memo labeled National Continuity Concern, Tier 3 Arctic Assets. In 1984, a NOAA expedition accidentally drifted into the Forbidden Zone due to a storm malfunction. When they returned to port, 2 crew members refused to speak of what they'd heard below the ice, while the ship's sonar technician was hospitalized for auditory hallucinations and cold-triggered PTSD. Years later, that same technician was found living in a shack outside Barrow, Alaska, surrounded by hand-drawn blueprints of circular machines he claimed were breathing domes. In the 1990s, as the ice began to melt faster than models predicted, satellite scans revealed faint vertical shadows in the same region, too symmetrical to be natural, but always just beneath the surface. A leaked DARPA document from 2002 refers to the area as Site A33, subglacial engineering vestiges, non-terrestrial potential, and requests funding for containment contingencies. Then in 2011, an oil drilling rig operated by North Star Energy ruptured a pressurized cavity 900 feet down, releasing not gas or oil, but boiling salt water and fragments of an unknown black metal lattice. The rig was evacuated under the guise of methane exposure, but satellite footage shows military cargo planes arriving within hours, airlifting sealed containers away under tarp. Since then, the site has been restricted under Homeland Security Directive 13 Polar, and no civilian satellites are permitted to image it under new orbital path limitations. But locals in Utqiagvik speak of humming ice, of hunters seeing moving lights beneath thin sea ice, and of radio static that turns into whispers during solar storms. In 2020, a scientific paper quietly published in the Cryosphere Review Journal referenced thermal anomalies consistent with exogenic infrastructure under the Beaufort Shelf. The authors were later contacted by defense officials and their affiliation retracted. Today, the files on Operation Harrow, Project Theta Ice, and the 2011 drilling incident remain sealed under exemption clauses related to non-conventional security threats. But if the structure beneath Alaska's ice is truly breathing, if something artificial waits in silence, then it may not be sleeping forever. It may only be waiting for us to listen. And when that silence finally breaks, will it be a voice, a warning, or a door opening where no door should exist?